Hi, welcome back. Today's video is all about the upgrade screen. I'm going to show it right now. Rather than going to the play menu, I have it jumping straight to the upgrade screen. You'll see all four of the weapons: standard bullet, durable bullet, the ion cannon, and the laser, as well as some other energy systems. The hull, that's the ship's life, the battery, and the power cell, which is going to be the recharge rate on the battery. The 5 different aspects of all the ammo that can be upgraded are the speed, and then you'll see here the cost column with the button for the cost of it, and that will increase. The damage, the weight, the durable nature of the durable bullet, so this is the only one that has that column, and the length, and the laser is the only one that has that one. That's for the length of the cylinder. And down here for the capacity, that's how much hull you have, as well as battery life, and the recharges for the power cell. So you'll see 2 numbers here for every entry. One of them is going to be the current value, and then this is the upgraded value, and then clicking on the button will eventually reduce the cost, but I'm still playing with all these numbers, so I just have 1,000 for everything right now. But you will notice that if I click on this button, you'll see a message down here which will say power cell recharge, because that's the button where I am. Over here we should see hull capacity. There we go. Here we should see ion damage. There you go. And weight, or standard weight. Alright. So let us unplay. Head over to the scripts and see what's going on. So this is the ship script, and I have added arrays to remember all of the next values. So I need to keep track of what the next bullet speed is going to be, next bullet weight, next bullet damage, as well as all the costs associated. And then eventually I need to bump into some maximum. So I'm going to have some maximum bullet speed, maximum damage, and some minimum wait time. And I've done the same thing for the durable bullets and the laser. So down here, we page down a bit to the start function. So now bullet 0 has all these extra arrays now that it has to initialize. The next bullet damage, next bullet's next cost, and then the maximum. And I've done that for all these bullets, all the bullet types. Alright, and I've also done it for the life and battery and the recharge rate. Okay, let's head over to the display controller script. You should remember this part of the script because I am in case 3 for the game menu. This is the only thing I've changed for this video. Down below I have added some functions to help me out with this case 3. Basically, I start off by, I think I've shown this before, the GUILayout.BeginArea. That's going to be the whole area of the screen that the camera's looking at that I get to manipulate with these GUI layout calls. So I space down a little bit, GUI layout space, or dot space. This next section is GUILayout.BeginHorizontal. It ends with GUILayout.EndHorizontal, and in here I have all of the header information. So this line right here gives me a blank space, the width of this variable, text weapon width. That is so that all my columns will line up, and this line is basically the same as where I have standard, durable, ion, and laser, so that it spaces over the next column properly. Now here I have header upgrade, which I'm calling a function, and I'm sending in one parameter: speed, damage, weight, durable, and length. I'm going to jump down to the bottom of the script here, and I receive in one variable, and then I print that variable out, which I'm calling header, and then also the cost. And these variable for the width, these have to be the right ones. So the text upgrade width, or if it's the width of the button, I have to make sure that those are in the right order. Okay, I'm going to page up here. Alright, so that was the header information. Now I'm going to show the standard, and pretty much everything else will be the same after I show you this one. So I have GUILayout.BeginHorizontal, and I'm going to end it down here. So everything in between I have indented. You don't have to do that, but that's for my eyes to see where I am. I print out standard. This is the weapon name, so it's text weapon width for the first column. Then I want to print out some stats. I am sending in ship.bullet_speed 0 because bullet type 0 is the standard bullet. So in this section here, I'm going to have all of my arrays using element 0. So I'm going to display weapon stats. I'll show you down below what that looks like, but I'm sending in two parameters, ship.bullet_speed 0 and ship.nextBulletSpeed 0. And then immediately I create the bullet, or the button. So I have an if statement, GUILayout.button, and then it needs to have some text here, and my values are integers. So I want to send in this number, but how GUILayout.button handles it is it needs to receive a string. So at the end of my number I say add on a blank string here, and that converts the whole thing to a string, so that it can receive that properly, how it wants to. And this is the upgrade button width. So this is where, just for a placeholder, I have it printing on the statement, so standard speed, standard damage, standard weight, and all that, so that I know I'm clicking on the correct button. Well, when it comes down to the bullet durable column, the standard bullet doesn't need to have any of that. So I send in a message to display weapon stats with the -1 here as the first parameter, and I'll show you how I handle that. It basically just prints a blank for the column and the button width. And then this is for the laser length. So these are just placeholders, and if anything ever changes with any of these weapons, then I can just substitute these -1 fields and send in real values. So let me jump down to the bottom for display weapon stats. So it's going to receive a current stat as a float and a next stat as a float. And then I just want to check to see if that first one is a -1, because I need to do something if it is. So if the current stat is not a -1, then I call GUILayout.label. The first variable that I want to put in there is the current stat. So that's your current damage or whatever. And then I want to add a little bit of a string here, so a blank space, left parentheses, and then another plus here. This is how you send multiple variables into a string field. So I want to put the next stat, close parentheses, and this needs to be the width of the text upgrade width variable. Now, if the current stat is -1, then I come down to this else, and I just basically print a blank string in that space instead. Alright, paging up. So the order is different here for these different bullets because the standard has the first 3, speed, damage, and weight, and not the next 2. Durable is different. It does not have the first one, so I have a -1 there. It has damage, weight, and durable, and then does not have the laser. So I've just followed the same pattern, putting a blank in where it does not apply to that weapon. The laser only has 2 things, so it has a blank for the speed, it does damage, and you can increase damage. It has a blank for weight, blank for durable, and then it has the laser length. So that's about all I have to show for this video. And I've tried to make everything as reusable as possible, meaning these functions down here at the bottom. So there are a couple different ways to go about this, and I still have some things kind of hard-coded as far as if I want to move the, for example, I have the display weapon stats called first and then the button, but if I wanted to switch those around, I do have to go in and manually change all these lines around. But as far as this screen goes, I already know that this isn't how it's going to be in the end anyway, so I'm going to have some art and I'll be able to change the spacing. But at least for now, this is going to give me a usable screen, and I will be able to upgrade the all the bullets and all of the energy systems here. And I did not mention, if I click done here, it just goes back to the previous menu, which for now the previous menu has been initialized to this game screen. But in game, if we play, now if I go and kill the boss, then it will take me to that upgrade screen. But from here, for now I can go to the upgrade screen, and when I hit done, it'll go back to the pause menu. But eventually I'm going to take this ship upgrades button out of the pause menu. So there's some things to look forward to, and I'm not sure what the next video is going to be, but some future things are to balance some numbers for hit points and weapon stats as you go through the game and advance through each wave. I also need to fill out the boss and make sure that he can do some cool stuff besides just wander side to side. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.